Tired of feeling tired? Done with diet culture? Overwhelmed by conflicting nutrition and fitness messages? Then join us, your hosts of the Nutrition Revolution podcast, as we take a deep dive into all things women's fitness and nutrition. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Tabitha. And together we are debunking diet culture myths and giving you the tools you need to finally see the results you're looking for.
So we want to talk about semaglutides.
GLP-1s.
Yes, GLP-1s, which stands for
glucagon-like peptide 1. It's a hormone that's produced in your intestines in response to food intake. It does have several functions in the body. It's related to blood sugar control, so your blood glucose levels, and then appetite regulation. So GLP-1s will stimulate insulin secretion, which plays a really critical role in maintaining your blood glucose homeostasis or balance. It also suppresses glucagon, which delays gastric emptying, slowing down how quickly food moves from your stomach to your intestines. So it'll keep you feeling fuller longer when you do eat something. And then it also reduces your appetite. It acts on the brain to reduce your hunger signals. So
which is that ghrelin hormone.
That hormone, that signaling gets basically think of taking scissors and cutting a wire.
Yeah.
Your GLP-1 is going to help manage blood sugar levels and then also cut that line of communication between your stomach and your brain through the hormone ghrelin that says hey, we're hungry, we need fuel, right. We need food. So you don't have that discomfort of a growling stomach and feeling hangry and all those uncomfortable things that come along with denying yourself food, which essentially when you're taking those and you don't have an appetite, you're not eating, that's what you're doing.
So it's been interesting having clients who are taking these semaglutides and, before they were I didn't realize the food chatter or hunger that I was experiencing or how often I think about food until that started cutting out their, hunger. They weren't hungry anymore. They're I didn't realize how many times I walked into the kitchen just to think about food or look for a snack or whatever, because I was just thinking about food all the time. When they started taking the semaglutides, they didn't think about food anymore. And so they were I didn't know what to do with all that time that I was walking into the kitchen because I just wasn't hungry. And it was surreal for them because, it's things you don't realize or you didn't notice. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, helping with just, the weight management. So aside from it being, let's back up a second. Yeah. Some of these GLP-1 drugs that you may have heard or know about, Ozempic, Wegovy, Trulicity, Mounjaro, those are kind of the mainstream brand name versions of the GLP-1s that ultimately, for those that are dealing with type 2 diabetes, can help improve your blood sugar control, increasing your insulin release. So that therefore takes the glucose into your cells, gets it out of your bloodstream, reducing glucagon and slowing your gastric emptying, and then cutting that line of communication between your brain and your stomach that tells you I'm hungry, or can lead to that constant thinking of food. So reduced appetite leads to weight loss. When you're not hungry and you're not eating, you're going to end up losing weight. So when these drugs were first used for treating type 2 diabetes, the side effect, one of the bonuses, I guess you could say, was that people are losing weight. Yeah. So now we can use it to help manage weight in adults and aid in weight loss for those that are struggling with overweight or obesity. So I think that there is a time and a place for them for sure. And obviously neither myself or Kimberly are doctors. So none of this takes precedence over the advice and guidance of your doctor. And if you are considering a GLP-1 of any form or are currently on one, hopefully you have gone through a qualified physician, medical provider to get those drugs. Please and to get the guidance.
Work with a doctor and don't just order or go to some person that says they have them for cheaper. When you're talking about messing with your hormones or changing any of the hormone patterns in your body, you have got to work with a doctor or a specialist to make sure you're doing it the right way and
the safe way.
It's super important because, like you said, there's a time and a place. And I've seen the most benefit for people who are on it with type 2 diabetes. I've seen them have, amazing results, bring their A1C back down, having, waking up in the morning with leveled blood sugar levels that they've never ever seen. And, they feel better, they're moving better, they're sleeping better, they're at a healthy weight, their weight is finally at a homeostasis where they feel like it's just manageable, that they can do it. So I've seen some really good benefits with the people who are on it for type 2 diabetes. So it's been awesome to watch. I know, I guess
it's a very controversial topic.
I was going to say, we can't really talk about this topic without talking about the controversy, because
the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
It's very polarizing.
Yeah.
Especially on social media where everyone's an expert.
Right.
And everyone's opinion is right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heated debate about it where people are like, oh, you're taking the easy route.
Right.
And there's a lot of shaming. And I think that's a shame.
I do. I think that people are afraid to either admit that they want to try it, and my fear with the shaming is, what if someone actually needed it, but they were afraid to go on it because they don't want to tell anyone they're on it. And I think part of it's the easy way out needs to be broken down, because, one, this drug was created for, it's been researched with type 2 diabetes, because type 2 diabetes is awful. If you have type 2 diabetes, there's so many health things that can occur with that, amputation, and there's so many things. But also, if you need to lose 200 pounds, you also are dealing with a lot of health issues, even just walking around, your knees, things that are hurting. So I don't like it's the easy way out, you shouldn't just be on it for weight loss, because I think that there are some people who just need to lose weight. Maybe they don't have any other health issues. They just need to lose weight. And this drug actually can help them kind of get a jump start on losing weight,
Yeah. I mean, even if you aren't someone that needs to lose 100 or 200 pounds, if you're someone that's been struggling with the same 20, 30 pounds and you're looking for extra help and assistance, I feel like my opinion on it is irrelevant and doesn't matter, right? Like, ultimately, it's got to be your choice. I do think it's become very trendy as a weight loss tool. And I think that's where we need to be careful. Yes, it can be a weight loss tool when it is used safely and effectively. And then also, it's a really critical time to make sure that you have good, solid nutritional programming, fitness programming, and a plan, and working on lifestyle changes while you're using the GLP-1, whatever brand that it is. I have worked with someone that was on it, and we had a really solid nutrition plan and a fitness plan, and they were able to avoid a lot of the unwanted side effects that also come with these GLP-1s, loss of skeletal muscle mass, bone density losses. And so they were able to lose the weight that they'd been struggling with for so long, but in a healthy way where they didn't compromise their body composition and that health. And then they were able to, as they were slowly taken off of the drug and tapered off of those medications, they were able to have minimal weight rebound.
Yeah. So I think that, is exactly right. If you're looking to use this as a weight loss, it is crucial to work with someone, your doctors or a health coach or a nutritionist that knows how to help you make those lifestyle changes along with, just like anything else. This is a tool in your toolbox.
Absolutely. I was just getting ready to say, this is just another tool in the tool belt of healthy living. Yeah. Because we know like the side effects. A lot of people complain when they first start taking these drugs about like the GI upset, and that could just be like a dosing or the brand. And that's something you need to talk with your prescriber.
Some people who have had to switch brands because I think it was, Ozempic had a pretty severe
like nausea,
reaction.
diarrhea.
It was nausea and diarrhea and extreme fatigue so bad that they couldn't get out of bed. They were exhausted. So, I was seeing that a lot with a few clients that are on them, that they just are so tired and just don't feel good at all, which in return, your nutrients are extremely lacking because you're so tired, you don't feel good. So you're not eating anything. So you're not able to get in nutrient dense foods at all. And so it's almost dangerous to the point where like you need to either get off of it altogether with your doctor, figure out a plan, or switch to a different brand that maybe is a little more like this person switched to Manjaro, and it's a little more gentle on your body. And so
it was a better fit for them as an individual.
Don't just suffer because you're like, no, this is how it works. It's
you definitely
not supposed to be to the point where you are feeling absolutely horrible.
So some of the controversy around using these drugs for weight loss only are really related to the long-term impacts on our health and the ramifications on our health, mainly the loss of skeletal muscle and then loss of bone density, which are already big concerns for peri and postmenopausal women. So women that after the age of 35, even when we start in our 30s, we start losing, 8 to 10% of our muscle mass every decade as a woman. And that only kind of accelerates as we get older, especially, bone density. So I think that if you have consulted with your physician and qualified healthcare provider, and you have decided that taking one of these GLP-1s is the course for you for your weight loss goals, there is no better time or not another time in life where it is greater need, more critical than to also work with someone or get help and guidance and assistance with a nutrition plan and fitness plan. So that way you can take advantage of these drugs and the power they have to help you lose body fat without also losing that precious muscle mass that we know muscle is the organ of longevity. Countless studies out there show and have proven that in both men and women, the more muscle you have as you age, the healthier you are. Even to like insulin sensitivity, right? Because I know I've discussed in previous episodes that, our muscles have proteins that take in glucose from the bloodstream that are insulin independent, right? So the more muscle you have, the better blood glucose control you're going to have, less frailty as you age. We could talk forever about those benefits. But then also when you are training regularly, so you're active, you're intentionally working out, you need certain nutrients to help protect your bones and maintain that bone density, especially as you age. So the big thing with the GLP-1s is making sure that you're doing them in a smart and healthy way versus like, I'm on this and I only eat once a day, but it's like whatever I want. It's pizza or whatever, but it doesn't matter because I'm hardly eating anything.
Yeah. Or you're just not eating, which can be another.
Or you're just literally starving.
Right. I mean, so that's one of the big things that I have concerns over is people who take it and then just don't eat anything. And then it creates, this disordered eating function that you are now going to experience. And then you have the weight rebound after you're off of it.
Which, for the record, if you read any of like the warning labels on these drugs, I mean, they actually specifically highlight
weight rebound.
That when you get off,
it's like 27.
That you
fact check me, but isn't it like 27%?
I don't actually know, so I can't fact check that. But I do know that
it's a lot.
The warning labels, they say that like weight regain or rebound is expected when you get off these drugs. So to that point, then it is a powerful tool, but it can also just become a Band-Aid and it can keep you stuck in this yo-yo dieting, yo-yoing up and down with your weight if you're not also willing to tackle your lifestyle and your nutrition mindset.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to tackle the nutrition part, tackle your nutrition habits, because when you're on this drug, it's going to, you're going to step on the scale and you're going to see weight loss. The problem is that it is not just fat loss. It's fat loss and muscle loss.
Especially if you're an active individual, you're going to see accelerated rates of skeletal muscle loss.
Right. I've seen clients who are on it and now they have saggy skin on their stomach or saggy skin in their arms because they're losing not only fat super fast, but they're also losing their muscle mass. And as we age, we need that. And so it's not just like a quick fix. And I don't think it's the way to go for like a quick fix. If you are someone who has struggled your whole life with losing weight and you've already tried everything, because there are people who literally have tried everything and nothing is working, which I think is where the insulin comes in and, just looking at your hormones in your body. But if you've tried everything and nothing's working, this is a great way to try something that you haven't tried before and see if it works. But during that time, it's so important to work with someone to figure out, are you eating the right amount of protein? Do you have someone holding you accountable for eating food even when you don't feel like it? And, you're not falling into this habit of, oh, well, if I just don't eat anything, that's when I lose the weight the fastest. Cause then it can be really dangerous and scary for people who are on it. And then, that's creating habits that are even worse for you. So I think it has a dark side and a bright side at the end of
like anything else.
the day,
It's not a magic cure.
It's not something you're going to take to get a beach body ready. I think that's what I want people to know is if you're going to be on it, you have to work with a doctor. You have to work with a nutritionist. You have to have a plan.
Yeah, you should get other help and coaching and support to help you develop healthier lifestyle habits. Also to educate you about when you are going to eat, because obviously you're going to be eating a lot less because you don't have the appetite for it. And I know I've had some clients that have said that like they just have this metallic taste in their mouth all the time, that like they put food in their mouth and it tastes like they're sucking on a penny. I don't know if you've heard that, but so obviously like nothing is even appealing. So even if they were going to go get that pizza that they love, it's like, ew, that even tastes gross. I don't want to even eat that. So having someone to teach you what nutrients to focus on and the timing of that nutrient intake is really essential for maintaining the muscle mass that you have while you are losing body fat, because that's the ideal. The hope is when you're taking this GLP-1 that you have a plan for your nutrition, for your training, and that you end up losing more body fat and minimize the loss of skeletal muscle and the loss of like overall health and vitality. And that's where having a coach, and I feel like this episode is kind of feeling very salesy. Like here we are, both of us are two nutritionists.
It's super important because I don't think that people realize it. Just like with any yo-yo diet, you're going to see, all right, my friend Jenny is now on a semi-glutide and she's lost all this weight and she looks fantastic. You're going to want to do that too, right? It's constant of like, you see someone do something and you're like, oh, that's a magic fix. Oh, there finally is a magic pill to weight loss. It's
or magic injection.
All magic, right? Magic injection, whatever you're taking. It's not all magic because there are, there's a dark side to it of like, if you're not doing it the right way, it can be incredibly dangerous
for your long-term health.
I mean, think about these women, we talked about it in the creatine episode, where if you don't have muscle as you age and you fall at 70, so when you're losing all of this fat and then you lose that amount of muscle also, when you go off of it, if you go off of it, and most people do after a while, it's going to take you years to build back that muscle. It could take you 2 years to build back the muscle that you lost on that Ozempic or whatever.
If you're ever able to actually fully regain those losses. Well,
so if you're doing it at the age of 65, are you going to ever actually be able to build that back? And then suppose you fall and you hurt yourself, like it can get dangerous. So you have to kind of mitigate some of these dark sides of it by creating healthy habits that move you forward and fix you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that.
I think you just have to know what you're getting into before you just jump on it and go do it. Have these conversations with your doctor, know all the pros and cons, know how your body works, and
also research other options and tools and coaching programs to help you learn about nutrition, learn about the best way to eat around training and the nutrients that you really want to be focusing on when you are going to eat something while taking these that are going to help provide your body with the micronutrients, so vitamins and minerals and the protein and fiber that it needs to support health while hopefully losing the weight that you need to and regaining more stability with your blood glucose levels and experiencing those benefits to mitigate the long-term negative health effects of being on these drugs. Have you changed your mindset around food? Because here's the thing, and this is a hard truth. You can take Ozempic, Wegovy, whatever, over and over and over again. And until you're willing to do the hard work and get the help and support to improve your nutrition mindset, your mindset around food and the way that you view it, you're going to continue to struggle with the same things that you struggled with before you took the GLP-1. So before you start those injections, you're going, it's not like the way that you view food or the struggles that you have are going to go away.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like the people who have weight loss surgery. You know,
It
they
really
have like
isn't
a weight
much
loss
different.
surgery and they're like, oh, this is working. And they lose all the weight. And then you see them 5 years later and they've gained the weight back. Part of that is because they didn't change their habits. They got the weight loss surgery and then they continued to eat the way that they wanted to eat.
And then gradually, stretch back out that,
which is
their
now
stomach
why
again.
a lot of them have to go to counseling and therapists and stuff
Yeah.
before they'll even do the surgery. Or if they want to try to do it again, they have to go to a therapist or counselor to kind of get those things done. But it's the same thing. A yo-yo diet. I could go on a yo-yo diet and lose 20 pounds, but I'm probably going to gain that and more back because I didn't change really my habits, my mental, thinking around things. I'm still trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, just with a different tool.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I feel like the GLP-1s are now replacing the gastric bypass craze
Right.
of, a decade and so ago, where that was like the new it thing tool to help for weight loss. And the reality is, again, if you don't work on developing healthy, sustainable lifestyle habits and cultivate a food positive mindset, you can have gastric bypass surgery. You can take a GLP-1, but when the dust settles and you are off of the GLP-1 or you are back to eating as much as you ate before after, gastric bypass surgery, it hasn't fixed the root issue. And it's no different than essentially than going on keto over and over or Atkins or whatever other diet, Weight Watchers and counting all your points.
Yeah.
It's just a Band-Aid for the root cause of whatever your struggles are with weight and your body composition.
Yeah. So I think, at the end of the day, no one should shame you for taking it.
Absolutely
if
not.
If you feel like you need to have it, then have it. And if you feel like it's going to benefit your health in the long run, then that's for you.
I think the bottom line and the big takeaway here is there can be a time and a place for you for these drugs and this medication, this help, but just make sure that you're doing it safely, effectively, and working on cultivating healthy habits that are sustainable and making sure that you have some sort of a nutritional plan in place. All right.
Hopefully
Till next
this was
time.
helpful. Yeah. See ya.
Thanks for spending your time with us. If you found this podcast helpful, we would love for you to share it with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe on your podcast platform. If you have nutrition or fitness questions you want answered on future episodes, we would love to hear from you. You can submit these questions to our email, thenutritionrevolutionpodcast@gmail.com, and follow us on Instagram @thenutritionrevolutionpodcast.